So you're telling me that this is better than this?
Yeah, man, it's the eye patch. It makes everything cooler. Just watch. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah! Disclaimer, every character is viable, and this does not mean that Kaeya will be better than ZhongREEE at every role. This was meant as a joke. Also, gameplay in the background is with a barely built-out gladiator set in C1 Kaeya. Please contact your doctor if you get hepatitis, severe nausea, vomiting, or get pregnant. Batteries not included. So, dumb opening aside, with the news of the new cryo set coming out, I ended up doing some work and thinking about if Kaeya was useful in any other way other than a burst support. Because he kind of deserves it. He's carried me through Abyss because of this goddamn lightning for 2 weeks. After doing some frame counting and checking out his DPS, I actually do think he has the potential to be a main DPS, although definitely not as good as D-Look or Klee as of right now. And that's mainly because Abyss 12 buffs Fire Element and Fire Element has broken reactions. First off, let's talk about what's going to make this possible in the first place, the new cryo set. With 1.2 comes Dragonspine Mountain, a new cryo set, and a new hydro set, which by the way, the cryo set is absolutely broken. Why, you ask? Well, not only does it give a cryo damage bonus, but its effect gives you 20% crit chance when you attack an enemy affected by cryo. Not only that, but it gives you 20% more crit chance when you attack a frozen enemy. Now, when you pair that with the fact that the elemental resonance for cryo is 15% more crit rate against enemies that are either frozen or affected by cryo, you end up with 55% chance to crit without doing anything at all. This is incredibly strong for any ice DPS, even though we don't really have one as of yet. But let's talk about why it'll affect Kaeya and how this is a good thing. Kaeya himself actually has pretty decent motion values. After doing the math and frame counting, I figured that his best combo was 1-2 charged attack. And with this combo, he actually, I think, out DPS's Xiangling and ZhongREEE with Crescent Pike. But the downside is that all of his attacks are quite slow, but they do end up packing quite a punch. However, if you need to cancel his attacks, you could pretty much cancel 25 to 50% of most of his animations and still end up hitting the enemy with this. One of the huge things that actually helps him, which I find pretty funny, is that since his 1-2 charged attack are so slow, he actually ends up regenerating some stamina as he's about to charge attack, meaning that he's more forgiving to play than, say, Catching, who has to spam all her charge attacks without stopping, making you run out of stamina really fast. Also, his E is pretty good, and his ultimate after it's cast, you literally don't have to worry about it because it's just extra DPS without having to go through a full animation, since it lasts so long, making it a good addition and what is essentially free DPS. Moving on, with the Ice set and Ice Resonance giving so much crit chance, don't we want more? Well, his first Constellation gives him even more crit rate against enemies either frozen or affected by cryo. In total, that's 75% crit chance against frozen enemies, and you don't even have to build crit. By this point, you're thinking to yourself, damn, that's pretty good. Now I can just focus on crit damage on the helmet slot. And if you were thinking that, pat on the back, you're correct. What if I also told you, Kaeya is actually pretty good at staying on the field for extended periods of time. His first talent gives him a heal for 15% of his attack for every enemy hit with his elemental skill. And his fourth Constellation, although I wouldn't necessarily recommend it and I actually don't have gameplay of this, gives him a cryo shield that automatically triggers once he dips below 20% health. Why is that shield so good? Well, if you aren't completely free to play and bought the Battle Pass, the most beloved OP weapon inside the Battle Pass, the Black Sword, makes his sustain even crazier. It gives crit rate, meaning you can pretty much overcap on crit rate, and every time you crit, you regenerate 60% of your attack every 5 seconds. Now, should you use it just to overcap on crit and sustain? Probably not, but I thought it was a hilarious idea to make him a beast at staying out on the field as long as possible. As for his best teammates when running him as a cryo support, I think you should absolutely run Chongyun, who is currently in the banner right now. The reason why is that Chongyun gives attack speed to allies with claymores, swords, or polearms, and he can convert all their attacks into cryo attacks. With this, Kaeya gains insane scaling with cryo damage. If you want to run a water unit in order to freeze for more crit, Xingqiu is actually really good at applying hydro to enemies. Otherwise, the other reactions are up to you. If you want to run him as a physical DPS, then Fischl is the way to go with her long uptime on Oz, and you can keep Superconduct out for long periods of time. Probably more than you're actually going to need. With that out of the way, let's dive right into artifacts and weapons. Obviously, we're going to be running this new cryo set, called the Blizzard Strayer set, I believe. It's way too good not to run. For your timepiece, you'll want percent attack, since that's the best stat we can look for on a main carry. on your goblet slot. If you want to go big on cryo damage with Chongyun, you should go for percent cryo damage. Or if you want to try him out with a superconduct build, percent fizz damage. As for your helmet, we'll have to go for crit damage because we have so much crit chance already built. For substats, we're going to prioritize percent crit damage, percent attack, and then it's up to you for percent crit rate, so long as you don't overcap, EM, flat attack, energy recharge, etc. Now, I know I've been hyping up as a DPS, but if you're still not sure, on the fence, or already have good DPSs, then here's the support build. The set you're going to run will be Noblesse Oblige. Then you'll run Energy Recharge on the Timepiece slot, percent Cryo for your Goblet slot, and Elemental Mastery, or Crit Chance if you're running Favonia's Sword for your Circlet. For substats, you'll want to focus on Energy Recharge, Elemental Mastery, attack percent, and crit rate if you're running Favonia's Sword again. When it comes to weapons for his DPS build, I actually don't like Aquila Favonia unless you're choosing to run him as a fizz damage carry only. The 20% attack boost is nice, but the fact that our secondary stat on the weapon is fizz damage doesn't make it best in slot for him. His two best 4-star swords, on the other hand, are the Black Sword and the Flute. But be careful with the Black Sword since you are going to overcap on crit rate. His best 3-star swords are Cold Steel or Fillet Blade, if you're not only using him as a cryo carry. If I ever get to it, maybe I'll work on weapon efficiencies on him to use, otherwise it'll probably be posted or stickied somewhere on this video. As for the support build, if you have it, you should run a Skyward Blade on him. For 4-star weapons, you can run Favonia's Sword on him since his E cooldown's pretty low. I don't think Sacrificial Sword is as good since his cooldowns are pretty low. For 3-star weapons, you should just run Skyrider Sword. Alrighty, and this is the end of the video and my semi-return to YouTube. Thank you guys for watching. I hope it helped you out at least a little bit. I'm currently planning on posting videos on Fridays, but this one was kind of done just now just to have it out. If you guys want to support me for future content, maths, and other stuffs, just subscribe, like, whatever on this video, and you can also follow me on twitch.tv/YanagiYume. Also, since this is pretty short notice, we'll see if I get Albedo to test him to do maths and stuff, but getting a 5-star is pretty expensive. So if you guys want to help me out to get him for me to do maths and stuffers, then that would be much appreciated. Thank you guys for watching.